Can a UAV-launched missile knock down a powerful warship? It might sound strange at first, but this is the cruel truth in the defense world. The advancements in combat equipment had eclipsed so hastily that now a missile can destroy the giant warship. When did this incident take place? And which was the blighted warship which was exploded by a lethal missile? To whom did this warship belong? A Russian-owned warship floating near Snake Island in the Black Sea faced this ill-fated, out-of-the-blue incident. With the increasing tensions between Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine's powerful drone TB2 launched a missile that was proven to be super fatal. It's not only the warship, but this missile also smashed the defense missile system on the land. That sounds crazy, isn't it? Which are this powerful drone and missiles? How was the situation out of control of the Russian naval force? Let's buckle up and try joining some dots which can give us a clear idea about this startling but frightful incident. This dreadful incident took place mid of this month and was revealed to the public through a satellite image. That satellite image clearly resembled how fatal and to the point was the missile attack. It was a Cerna-class landing ship that was floating near Snake Island's northern beach. The video displayed the warship in just a few minutes engulfed entirely by flames. The missile from Bayraktar TB2 also aimed and successfully destroyed the building on the island, which was located 80 miles south of the Ukrainian port of Odessa. The unexpected missile attack feared the Russians, but they also did not sit quietly. They also attacked by launching 6 giant missiles on the southern Ukrainian port city of Odessa on the same day. Russia's efforts to control the Black Sea have been going on for a very long stretch of time, but Ukrainians are making it difficult for them. The missile attack on Ukraine was handled perfectly as all women, children and the elderly were secretly evacuated from the Mariupol steelworks plant. Not only this missile attack, but the ongoing war and all the lined-up attacks are super perfectly handled by Ukrainian officials. The country's National Security Council is making sure that no civilians are at risk of being attacked and has ordered more security for Victory Day. Ukrainian officials claimed since Russian troops cannot boast of any significant achievements on the front by Victory Day, the risk of massive shelling of Ukrainian cities these days is increasing. Also, the citizens were notified to avoid large gatherings for any reason and also take proper cover when they overhear air raid sirens. Let's glimpse how the evacuation at the Mariupol steel plant was handled. Ukrainian fighters controlled the Azovstal steel plant in the city of Mariupol during the ongoing war. The evacuation of civilians was so specific and all of them were rescued from the tunnels, which eventually saved the plant. In the tunnels and bunkers beneath the Azovstal steel workers, there are assumed to be around 2,000 Ukrainian fighters keeping an eye on the Russian moves. However, Ukraine are not revealing if they found a secret place to hide in the tunnel or not. It was not at all easy for the soldiers to evacuate women and children from the war situation and transfer them to safe places across the border. All such insane and dreadful situations were handled with care, providing as much safety as possible to the civilians. Is someone backing or guiding Ukraine to handle the war situation with excellence? Yes, it's the defense giant US who is backing up Ukraine by providing varied combat equipments like stealthy, backpackable switchblades, missiles and other weapons, but not interfering directly in the war between Russia and Ukraine, as the situation might get worsened, which eventually might end up in a world war. So the US has stepped back from interfering directly, but assuring Ukrainians are supplied with all the defense weapons needed to counterattack Russians. Surprisingly, Russia and its senior lawmaker are blaming Washington for coordinating with Ukraine in military operations. They are assuming that the US military is involved in the war directly, which is not the actual situation. Russian official Vyacheslav Volodin on Telegram said, Washington is essentially coordinating and developing military operations, thereby directly participating in military actions against our country. It's not only the US but also the NATO alliance that is helping Ukraine and its military by supplying some essential combat weapons which are not possessed by them. Both the US and the NATO alliance several times claimed that they are not intending to be a part of the war, but they are just helping with the supplies. Russia seems to keenly abide by all the rules and regulations in the contract for the war. A Russian Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson exclaimed, Russia firmly abides by the principle that there can be no victors in a nuclear war and it must not be unleashed. So practically both nations are abiding by laws, but it's just that Russians are misunderstanding the US and NATO alliance help. Before diving deeper to know everything about the drone used by Ukraine to counterattack Russia, make sure you subscribe to our channel to learn more about incredible drones and defense equipment that'll revolutionize the defense system. Which was this dreadful drone that proved to be fatal to Russians? It is none other than a Turkish-manufactured stealthy unmanned aerial vehicle is a secret power pack of some extraordinary features. This flat, grey TB2 drone is a tiny piece of equipment with angled wings and a rare propeller that is advanced enough to carry laser-guided bombs with it. This lethal, minute combat equipment can be easily carried in a flatbed truck and costs barely when compared to other drones owned by Israel and Americans. Launched and completed its first successful kill in 2016, this buzzed unmanned aerial vehicle owned by several countries is amazingly designed by Selçuk Bayraktar, a son of a Turkish auto parts entrepreneur, who is a lead and a brilliant manufacturer of combat weapons. Did Russians know about this fatal drone? No, they were not aware. It was a terrible surprise for them. When the Russians invaded Ukraine's borders, there were many myths about the lightweight defenseless drones being owned by Ukraine's naval force. The public and other nations assumed that those tiny and non-fatal drones would shoot down and land upon the land within just a fraction of minutes. This is because Russians are amazingly equipped with long-range cruise missiles which can destroy drones, short-range missile systems which can be proved lethal for the drones in the air, and also have electronic jammers which can block the communication for drones. But the tables turned all around when Ukraine revealed the Bayraktar TB2 unmanned aerial vehicle. This drone has become a legend during the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. A manufacturer of this lethal drone claimed it makes ghosts out of the Russian bandits. This crisp and confident statement states it all. These drones lack speed and range, but are still versatile tools as they can perform several varied tasks at a time. From gathering intelligence, conducting keen surveillance, and undertaking reconnaissance operations, this TB2 drone is excellent in every aspect. And the fascinating part about these lethal drones is it is not only used for still flying, but these drones can be used for shooting guided missiles at tanks and supply trains. Also, these drones act as jammers, sensors, target designators, spotters, communications relay, and also as decoys. Is any other nation operating this fatal drone? Yes, it's not only Ukraine, but there are 13 other nations to whom this lethal drone is sold and is used several times during the different wars. To date, TB2 has been deployed for 800 strikes. These drones are performing so efficiently that they hit the accurate target in a stipulated period of time. This will be the first ever tiny low-lying drone with conventional combat capabilities. During several wars between North America, the Caucasus, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, Azerbaijan's dictatorial leader, these UAVs were used. In whichever wars it was used, it had shown significant operational revolution, which is in very rare case scenarios. So, the missile launched by the Bayraktar TB2 drone was astonishing for Russians as well as for the entire world. This tiny drone has shown wonders in the ongoing war and is now legendary in unmanned aerial vehicle space. With this missile attack, Russian naval forces fearing Ukraine's next step and taking advantage of this situation. Russians are blaming Ukraine for taking help from the US and NATO alliance. Russian officials strongly believe that the US and NATO alliance are invading the war directly. However, this is not the situation. They might be doing so because the Switchblades dispatched by the US to Ukraine also had a destructive effect on the Russian naval force. So what are your thoughts on the US and NATO alliance supplying combat vessels to Ukraine? Will this Bayraktar TB2 drone continue to show wonders in the ongoing war? Do let us know your views in the comments below. And before we wrap up, if you're interested in other fascinating things about combat drones, then make sure to check out our detailed video on Switchblades, which has horrified the other nations including Russia. You can go check this out after the video. And if you enjoyed watching it, make sure to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such exciting content. See you in the next video.